What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building, and today I decided to put together a very special banger for y'all. So, as you can see by the looks of the title and the screen, I'm gonna be bringing y'all the first ever best top 5 slashing builds coming at y'all on NBA 2K21 current gen. Thank y'all so much to everybody who decided to come through. But man, before we get into the making, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. To the Rich Gang family and any new supporters, I would appreciate it if y'all went ahead and hit that like button, but also be sure to share this video with your family and friends and turn on post notifications. So the first slashing build that I got lined up for y'all, the two-way athletic finisher, go ahead and put it under the small forward position. Then when it comes to the pie chart, in order to get the lockdown takeover, pick the one split right down the middle with the defense as well as the finishing, the red and blue. Then when it comes to the physical profile, now these are really going to be optional. There are a couple different ones that you can pick, but for my preference, I'm going to go with the one with the 79 speed, 77 acceleration, and an 87 vertical, plus the 76 strength, y'all. Now, as we get into the actual making of this build, what you want to go ahead and do is max out your close shot, driving dunk, as well as your standing dunk, and put your driving layup to a 56 for 20 badges right there. Then on the shooting side, go ahead and max out your mid-range, three-pointer, free throw, and put the post fade to a 57 for 5 badges. On the playmaking side, max out your pass accuracy and ball handle, and then put the post moves to a 65. On the defense, max out your perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, then from there the defensive rebound. And as you can see, on the playmaking and defensive side of the badges, we got 12 and 17. Really nice setup for this two-way athletic finisher, and I call it a two-way athletic finisher because of the takeover. So when it comes to the height, what you want to go ahead and do is look really closely at all of the stats and take into account if you like what you see. I'm going to be going with 6'8". Then when it comes to the weight, I really like somewhere around the 250 range, especially with having that high 80 strength. Now, when it comes to the wingspan, if you lower all the way, you have the chance to get a 99 strength once you grind this build out all the way and getting that gym rat badge. But if you max it out, that looks even nicer, especially when it comes to the finishing stats. So go ahead and do so. Go ahead and feel free also to make this build as you please, but as you can see, the takeovers we get are the slashing, lockdown, playmaking, and also the glass cleaning. I'm going to go ahead and leave that option up to y'all, but as you can see, we got the athletic finisher with the lockdown takeover, which is honestly very rare. Now let's go ahead and get into the next build that I got lined up for y'all, the shooting glass cleaning slasher. So my thought process into going about making this build was being able to make a glass cleaning build that was not going to be lacking in the finishing area, but also a small part of the shooting. So for this build, I ended up deciding to touch the mid-range. A lot of these glass cleaning centers do not put anything into the shooting category, and I honestly feel like that is a sleeper category, especially if you know your jump shot. And on top of all that, if you are running with teammates that like to use floor general and you like to run boost, and if you get this build to 99 overall, that is going to be a +4 from the 99 overall. Then if you buy boost, that's +5 to shooting stats. Then you're running with a teammate that has floor general, another +4. So again, you're getting at least +10 to your stats when it comes to this build if you grind it out and are running with the right teammates. When it comes to the position, go ahead and put it under the power forward and pick the pie chart split right down the middle with the playmaking as well as the defense. When it comes to the physical profile, these are honestly all going to be optional for every single one of these builds. However, some builds do change the name depending on what physical profile you did pick, but for mine, I'm going to go with the 72 speed, 70 acceleration, and the 78 vertical. Now, when it comes to the finishing, go ahead and max out the first 4 categories and put that post look to a 35 for 12 finishing badges. For the mid-range shot, put this to a 67, and for this kind of build, that is really high. On the playmaking side, max out your pass accuracy and ball handle and put the post moves to a 71. On the defensive, max out the last 3 categories as well as the top 2, and then go ahead and put the rest into your lateral quickness. Now let's go ahead and get into the height, weight, and the wingspan on this build. What you want to go ahead and do for the height is put this build at 6'8". Then when it comes to the weight, Honestly, somewhere around the 190 range, in my opinion, is looking really nice. Then when it comes to the wingspan, of course, for this kind of build, you would definitely want to go ahead and max out that wingspan. However, if you are worried about that mid-range shot going too low into the 60s, you can definitely go ahead and drop your wingspan if you want to go that route. For my preference, these are really good takeovers, glass cleaning, rim protecting, playmaking, and slashing. That's up to y'all, but as you can see, we have made the glass cleaning slasher, and honestly, a Giannis as well as a Dennis Rodman comparison is always going to be something really great. Let's go ahead and get into the next slashing build that I got lined up for y'all, the mid-range slasher. So far so good when it comes to these slashing builds. Before we get into the making of this build, go ahead and let me know right now in the comments, what did y'all think of the first two builds that I got lined up for y'all? They only get better from here, especially when it comes to the name. A lot of these slashing names are honestly rare, and on top of all that, it makes it even better in my opinion, because if you're using a rare build and you still get success with it, that just makes you an even better player. So now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this mid-range slasher build right here. So when it comes to the stats as well as the badges for this build, you're going to be able to see that this badge count and this build overall is easily one of the best, most well balanced builds that you can possibly make. The defense, the shooting, the playmaking, and the finishing all go very well in it, hand in hand with one another. Now when it comes to the position on this build, of course you want to go ahead and put it under the shooting guard position. Now when it comes to the pie chart, go ahead and pick the pure playmaking pie chart. Honestly, that is a huge surprise to me because of the name. Then when it comes to the physical profile, you can pick any of these, but I'm going to go with the one with the 89 speed, 88 acceleration, and the 80 vertical. Now when it comes to these stats on the finishing side, go ahead and max out your first three categories as well as your post hook, and then for the standing dunk, put that to a 29 for 8 badges. On the shooting side, go ahead and max out the first three categories. That's going to give us 12 shooting badges, and then on the playmaking, go ahead and put that pass accuracy to a 75, 86 ball handle. Then on the defensive side, perimeter defense, lateral quickness, and the steal are all going to be maxed out. Then when it comes to the offensive rebound, go ahead and do the same exact thing. And from here, you are all going to be set and good to go. Let's go ahead and get into the height now. As you can see, we're going to be going with 6'6". When it comes to the weight, feel free to pick whatever you like. Just be sure to pay attention to your physicals as you are adjusting this. So for my preference, honestly, somewhere around the 180 range is going to be completely fine. Then when it comes to the wingspan, this is going to be a big game changer as well. When it comes to this, what you want to go ahead and do is look at 78.0. Check out the stats, and if you like it, go ahead and feel free to pick that. As you can see with the takeovers, you still get a good amount, but if you go to the 81 range, you get that lockdown takeover. So it really comes down to what you want to do, but as long as you feel comfortable, like I said, feel free to do so. And as y'all can see, we have got the mid-range slasher build. Now let's go ahead and get into the fourth build that I got lined up for y'all. And as y'all can see, yes, we got the one, the only, possibly the best, rarest, and only true slashing name, the Lob Threat build. Now this cannot be a top 5 slashing builds without having this build on the list, so y'all know that I definitely had to hit y'all with it. And that also goes with the athletic finisher build. I'm telling you, all of these builds are going to be very overpowered once you grind them out and get them to 99 overall. The best thing about it is that these are going to be rare builds that you can almost guarantee that you will have success with as long as you know what you are doing. So let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. The first thing you want to go ahead and do is put it under the power forward position. Then when it comes to the pie chart, there are a couple different ways that you can go about making this build, but the best possible way is going to be picking the pie chart split right down the middle with the finishing as well as the defense. Now when it comes to the physical side of things, I'm going to go ahead and pick the one with the 71 speed, 68 acceleration, 84 vertical, and a 64 strength. Then when it comes to the stats, on the finishing side, max out the first three categories and put that standing dunk to a 50 for 18 finishing badges. Now onto the shooting, go ahead and max out your mid-range shot, free throw, and the post fade, and put the three-pointer to a 47 for 9 badges. On the playmaking, put that pass accuracy to a 50, but max out your ball handle and post moves for 9 badges as well. And then on the defensive side, max out the first three categories, max out your defensive rebound, go ahead and put the block to an 83, or you can make a couple of different adjustments just to get some extra badges. So it really comes down to what you want to do, but ultimately you could end up with 16 defensive badges, which is really nice. Then when it comes to the height, what you want to go ahead and do is pick 6'8". And now for the weight. Of course, for purposes being on the physicals, you could really go with the lowest weight if you want to. If you don't want to, go ahead and pay attention to your strength and make sure it's at what you like, especially when it comes to the speed. Then on the wingspan, of course, you want to go ahead and max it out. You can literally consider this a two-way lob threat, especially with that rim protecting takeover. You can even make this build to where you get sharpshooting takeover, but I'm going to go with rim protecting. And as y'all can see, we have made the lob threat. Let's go ahead and get into the last and the final build that I got lined up for y'all out of the top 5 slashing builds. The slashing 4, y'all. Now, when I first seen this build, I'm telling you, I have heard so many great things about it, especially using it in the 1v1 court. This build is easily going to be one of the most slept on, rare, slashing, and power forward builds coming at y'all on NBA 2K21. If y'all decided to make it this far, go ahead and let me know what y'all thought about the first 4 builds that I had lined up for y'all. Go ahead and comment down below as well. Which one is going to be your favorite and why? Let's go ahead and get into the making of this one. So first, of course, a slashing 4. Put it under the power forward position. Then, when it comes to the pie chart, what you want to go ahead and do is pick the one right here. The playmaking as well as the finishing split right down the middle. This is going to be the way that you want to make this pie chart out of. Going to be the best possible one as well. Then when it comes to the physical profile, if you care about the speed the most, go ahead and pick the very first one. But the 4th one is going to give you a huge boost to your vertical. If you want to consider the strength on this build, you definitely can do so, but I feel like it is not necessary for what kind of rare build that this turns out to be. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of these stats. The first thing you want to go ahead and do is max out your ball handle as well as the post moves. Then, when it comes to that pass accuracy, you could either go ahead and switch this up, maxing out your pass accuracy and put the post moves to around a 73, or you could go ahead and flip it and make it to where you get 85 post move, or you can leave it as is. And this right here is going to give you 20 playmaking badges, which is going to be really good, honestly. So let's go ahead and get into the shooting now. Mid-range shot, 3-point shot, as well as the free throw are all going to be maxed out. When it comes to the post fade, put that to a 48 for 8 shooting badges. Then on the finishing side, go ahead and max out the top 3 categories. Then when it comes to the standing dunk, put that to a 50 for 16 badges. Now let's go ahead and get into the defense. We are essentially maxing out everything except the offensive rebound right here. And honestly, the stats look really good, especially when it comes to this badge count. For being a rare build, it is not bad at all. So let's go ahead and get into the height now. We have a couple different options that you can go with. For me, I'm gonna pick 6'8". Then you could go with the lowest weight as well and max out that wingspan. But honestly, if you want to go ahead and raise your weight to risk it or go somewhere in between, you definitely can do so. At least make it to where you get a 62 strength. So by the time that you max this build out all the way, get a +4 at 99 plus gym rat, you'll have around a 70 strength. But if you don't want to do that, go ahead around somewhere around the 220 range and just be sure that you are paying attention to your stats but also the physicals. It really comes down to what you want to do, but with my preference, I'm going to go ahead and just let y'all know maxing out your wingspan is going to be good, but if you lower it to the lowest, you're going to get a boost to your shooting. So it really comes down to what y'all want to do, but as you can see, we have made the slashing 4, y'all. Thank y'all so much to everybody who made it all the way through. Just know that I truly appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. The best 5 top slashing builds coming at y'all on NBA 2K21 current gen. So man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. To the Rich Gang family and any new supporters, I would appreciate it if y'all went ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and turn on post notifications so y'all don't miss an upload. But last but not least, be sure to share this banger with your family and friends, y'all. Man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.